Hey, Paul Elias here, getting ready for the 2011 Bassmaster Classic. Well, you know, it's down in New Orleans, and it's down in the Louisiana Delta. And boy, I'm gonna tell you what, there's a lot of water to cover. I'm sitting here looking at these charts. I've got like 4 charts rolled up in there. Here's another chart here. Here's another chart here. Here's another chart here. And that's about half of what I really need to look at. You know, so there's all kind of water to cover down there. How do you prepare for something like that? Well, you know, I've been doing this stuff 30-something years, and there's one thing that I believe in, especially in a tournament like this, in a tournament of this caliber, is on an area like the Mississippi or the Louisiana Delta, you're going to have to make a very conscious decision about what you're facing each day. And you're going to have to make a solid commitment to whatever your gut feeling tells you on the first morning of the tournament, which direction to go. Now you're going to have it in your mind that, okay, I'm going, let's say, I'm going to go to Delacroix. Now Delacroix is 2.5 hours one way. Okay, that's where let's say that's where I've caught my biggest fish. So I'm going to go to Delacroix. I got it, I'm buying set. I don't care, it's 2.5 hours. I'm only going to get the fish 2 hours, 2.5 hours, but I'm going to go over there and I'm going to catch them. Okay? Now, you get out there the first morning of the tournament and it's a blanket of fog. You can't go to Delacroix. What are you going to do? Well, naturally I'm going to have other areas that I've practiced in, hopefully that I've built some confidence in, and I'm going to have to make that decision that morning. Okay, I'm going to this bayou right here, and that's 15 minutes away, and I'm going to spend all day in there, and I'm going to hammer it, and I'm going to catch me a big stringer of fish. You know, that's the kind of stuff that you're going to be faced with when you get down there. Naturally, I'm going to have a key area that I feel like I can win the tournament in. But odds are that area is going to be a long way from where we're taking off of down by New Orleans, by Osignet. So I've got to, even though I want to fish a certain place, I've got to keep in the back of my mind that I may not be able to get to that place, so I've got to have a strong backup plan. Now, I hope I go down there. We're going to have 4 more days to practice. I spent 4 days down there before the water went off limits on December the 13th. But I'm going to go down there for these 4 days, and hopefully I'm going to lay down a very good backup plan to my main plan. So if I do run into obstacles like fog or 40-mile-an-hour winds or something that can keep me from going where I really want to go, that I'll have a strong backup plan to do. And I'm going to tell you, that's a hard thing to do, and it's a hard decision to make, because your gut's going to be telling you, I can make it. I can go down there and I can still catch them if I only have an hour. And it might be possible when I might end up doing something like that. But I've got to be mentally prepared to accept the fact that I can't do what I really want to do, and I got to go to my backup plan. And hopefully my backup plan, it can still be a plan that can keep me in contention, because the next day I may be able to get up, everything be fine, and I may be able to go where I really wanted to go for the whole tournament. But you know, that's the kind of stuff we're going to be faced with down there in the Louisiana Delta. Now, fishing wise, it's going to be an exciting deal. It's going to be a lot of fun, because there's going to be a lot of fish caught. You know, weather's going to play a pretty key role in where you get to go, but I don't think weather's going to really affect the catch that much as far as whether the fish bite or not. Now, depending on whether you get around them or not, it's going to be a big deal. But, you know, it's going to take quite a bit of weight. Probably, I would predict anywhere from 50 to 58 pounds, you know, to win the tournament. And you know, that's a real significant catch. That's 17, 18 pounds a day. You know, and I, you know, I went down before the cutoff and practiced 4 days, and in those 4 days I probably could have done that. But the fishing, you know, the water had not gotten real cold, and you know, the fish were very active because they were feeding up, knowing that the water's fixing to get cold. And you know, I think several of the guys went down there and probably did the same thing. Probably had some good days and had some good stringers. You know, a lot of that can change in 2 months. You know, when you got a 2-month layoff on the lake, it makes a big deal. But you know, preparing for the tournament, what I did was I went down there and I learned my runs. I learned how to run the Delacroix. I learned how to run the Venice. I learned how to run the Homa and all the little stops in between. I learned how to go over to the close area lakes and stuff. They're supposed to have some good fish. I learned my shortest route to go to any direction. That's very important. Now when I go back down there for those 4 days, I don't have to waste a whole lot of time learning how to get around. Now I can utilize my time to find areas that are holding fish, or go into areas where I caught them before the cutoff and establish they're still there, or they moved over here for 200 yards or a quarter of a mile that way or whatever. I'm going to find out which direction these fish went if they moved, and I've got to pinpoint them again because I'm going to be short on time. So I've got to get down there, figure out where the fish are, figure out if they're still in the same place. Did they move over here to the left, right, whatever? How far did they move? But I want to find the concentrated areas of them, so if I have to make a long run to somewhere like Delacroix or Venice or past Homa or whatever, I can run there, sit down right in the area where the fish are, pop them as quick as I can pop them, and get back. Because it's going to be a very, very, very important thing, just the basic possibilities of a breakdown when you're running those kind of miles on the water. Anything can happen, and you sure want to have as much time as you can have to fish, but you also want to have as much time as you can have to get back safely and on time. The guy that can make the right mental decisions is the guy that's going to win this tournament. And basically that's the guy that wins practically every tournament. You know, when I've got my mind set on a place to go in the Classic, an area to go to, and I'm going to go down there and I'm going to check those areas out, but I have got to stay open-minded. I have got to understand that there's going to be a lot of variables. I've got the tide to deal with in some areas and not so much in the other areas. You know, so I've got to mentally weigh all my options and then make a very conscious choice on how I'm going to fish the Bassmaster Classic, because this is going to be a very important tournament. It's going to be a very big tournament in as far as crowd capacity and coverage, and my intentions are to go down there and win the thing. I'm going to think win the whole time, and you've got to do that if you're ever going to be a winner.